That's one thing I don't understand when it come down to my brothers and sisters in general. All the hate need to stop. All these people who have made a way for us, for far as history dates back, we need to learn how to get together and squash it and just say, let's stick together. That's why we can't have nothing. Good morning. How my beautiful queens and handsome kings doing this morning? How you all doing? Welcome back to another day in this video. How you all doing? It is currently 10:14. I was kind of just doing a little my morning devotional studies, and of course drinking my coffee. Y'all, I ended up yesterday when I got home. I had to stop at the, I was with someone. They had stopped at, with a friend of mine, and that person had to stop at the grocery store. So while I went in there, I just ended up picking me up some coffee and some oatmeal creamer. Y'all know I love oat milk too. I forgot to mention to you all. Oat milk made, I feel like oat milk made coffee taste pretty good. They had almond milk, but I always do either or almond or oat milk. But this particular day, I wanted some oat milk because I feel like the oat milk made the coffee more creamier, in my opinion. But like I said, I do drink both. Both oat milk and almond milk. Sometimes if I don't have my 2% milk on hand, I probably use the almond milk. If I do have it, I will use that and substitute the 2%, like if I'm drinking it with my cereal. But I do kind of low-key like the oat milk better when it come down to my coffee. But like I say, if I don't have whatever I don't have on hand, it always a substitution. But welcome back. I feel very rested. Like I said, I've been really tired these last couple of days. Like I said, I've been working a lot, and then I've been trying to make sure my mother is good. Like my mom, she had to go. She been in the hospital. Well, she's now in the hospital, but I just talked to her this morning. She's doing a lot better. So I'm blessed about that because I was worried about her. And then y'all know I told y'all work been picking up for me as well. So between working and trying to make sure my family, my mom and the rest of my family good, it's been a lot. But like I say, I feel like God, he just saying like the battle, I know the battle is not mine, but sometimes he know what you can handle, and he knows sometimes those around you do need you when you least expect it. So I've been looking at it like that. But I do want to go back over, I want to kind of give y'all and I'm, this just from my understanding, I feel like this particular verse can relate because I want to give y'all like some inspiration. Well, I ain't gonna say inspiration. I do want to talk more into customer service now because something happened yesterday when I was, out at the hospital with my mom because I had sat out there with her for 5 hours. But from the things that's looking, the customer service industry is really going down. Like it's getting ridiculous. And I was mentioning to you all yesterday evening when I got in about, some of the stuff, but I do want to get, kind of talk a little bit more into it this morning with you all. So I'm going to just read this little verse right here that stood out. I just got to read in Deuteronomy chapter 28. And I find it strange because I was trying to go back and I was just looking for some, a scripture to read. And I had came across Deuteronomy the other day and I put my little bookmark in it. But Deuteronomy chapter 28, it's a pretty long chapter. So I'm going to go back and do some more reading on it. And it says, verses 7 and 8 said, the Lord will beat down before you the enemies that rise up against you. They will come out against you from one direction and flee before you in 7. Then that 7 and 8 said, the Lord will affirm the blessing upon you on your barns and on your undertakings. He will bless you in the land that the Lord your God is giving you. And so I want to reflect on that from what I have experienced yesterday. And I feel like that scripture, them 2 verses of that in chapter 28 was really, that I feel like somewhat I can break it down to what I'm about to say. But I'm starting to notice with customer service, y'all know I work in this industry as well. But yesterday I'm at the hospital with my mom and I was just sitting there, and that, you know, they had her room door open because they kept, you know, trying to make sure she was good, coming to check in and make sure she, you know, she's good. And so I'm just constantly hearing the nurses outside, the nurses, and you just hear more gospel. I'm like, dog, I thought I feel like I'm working in the soap. Like, I feel like the people that work around me and because y'all know I work at a hotel, and I know where I work at is like a soap opera. You have a lot of people will come to work, gospel. They don't want to do their job that they getting paid for. They hot about what they not going to do, what they going to do, this, not this, which I don't understand why they still there, you know, because it's not fair to people that's, you know, might be working in the same position as them and might not be getting paid as much, but, you know, you're hired to do a job regardless, you know. And so, you know, it put me in the mind of what the situation I'm in that will work with all the talking and gossiping and negativity and people just act like they hate to see the other person make it. So I'm in the hospital. I'm not eavesdropping, but you can't help but to hear because, like I say, her room door open. And you just hear so much gossiping from the head nurse to the nurses. One nurse talking about another, I guess her co-worker about she putting all the extra work on her, and she cussing. I'm working like a Hebrew say. I'm like, wow, you know. I'm like, I thought I'm dealing with something. I'm like the healthcare workers, because really I know the people in the healthcare field, as far as working in nursing homes, hospitals, because I used to work at a nursing home as what's that? I can't even get my words out. I used to work in a nursing home years ago. That was before I would start working in this, you know, in the hospitality industry. I used to be a housekeeper. So I would hear a lot of things that go on. And I know in the healthcare field, it's a lot. But see, back then when I was working in a nursing home as a housekeeper, the pandemic hadn't occurred. But I knew it was a lot of work on people, you know, on the CNAs, head nurses and stuff. But I was just like in the hospital, I'm starting to see it now in the hospital that it ain't no different than when you at a nursing home. It's just, you know, I know a hospital, the pay is more than, you know, if you working in a nursing home. But I'm just listening to these people just gossiping. And so I'm like, man, customer service had gotten worse. It's like you can't even speak to people no more. I think I was mentioning to you all yesterday in the video. I'm going to because now I'm noticing that all these hospitals, it might be all over. I don't know how it is in your city and state, but I know here in Memphis, when you go into a hospital, it's even my primary care doctor. Now you got to go through a metal detector before you know, go to the registration and, you know, be seen. It's just what's going on in the economy. I guess people now, they want to make sure, you know, nobody coming in there, you know, with weapons and stuff like that, and, you know, harming or trying to hurt people, which I understand because y'all know there's so much going on, and people now anger, like people is really, like some people don't know how to control their anger, so I understand that part. But it's just sad nowadays that I feel like if you shouldn't work in customer service if you don't know how to control your anger, meaning that if you have a patient and the patient telling you that they can't take this kind of medication and you get mad and you try to cuss the patient out and try to shove the patient or try to hit on the patient, I find that very rude and disrespectful because first of all, you won't want nobody to hit your mom or your dad or, you know, Lord forgive, you know, you don't do stuff like that. And it's getting to the point now where I have to really ask God, like this morning. That's why I said, let me get into my word because, you know, I would not be disrespected and I would not let nobody disrespect my family. You know, you're not going to do that. Not around me, not on my watch where I'm watching. You're not going to do that, you know, because the simple fact you're there to do a job. If you're stressed out, overwhelmed, I understand that. I go through things too. That's why I be telling people how about, oh, you know, you so strong. Yeah, if only you knew you keep a smile on your face. Yeah, I try to keep a smile all the time to keep from crying because, you know, I know brighter days are ahead. But I feel like if you're going through a lot and you get overwhelmed on the job, take some time off. I have did it plenty of times. Like when I was working this last hotel job, the job was working me so much to the point where I couldn't even function right. Like my mind just was all over the place. I'm like, you know what? I'm finna go to HR, talk to my HR manager and take me some time off, because if anything happened to me, I know I'm replaceable. That's anybody. I don't. It's to the point where you need your money, but your mental health, and that's another thing. Mental health is so far on the rise, and it's not being discussed. And it's really sad when it come down to my own people. People look like me now, and I'm y'all know you all been following me for quite some time. You all know I just like to keep it real. Everybody might not agree with me on my channel, but I feel like you all that show up and you all that's tuning in and join my channel now, you join for a reason, because it's some on one of my videos that maybe touch you. But I just like to be real, because the thing is, it's just sad that even us as Black people, we cannot stand, like, it's really sad that what our ancestors went through to get us to where we going right now, so we can be, have a, I'm trying to figure out how I can say this, where we can be able to have more freedom and stuff, and we still trying to suck up to the next person when they don't care about us, and we turn against each other. There's one thing I say, hold on. That's one thing I don't understand when it come down to my brothers and sisters in general. All the hate need to stop. All these people who have made a way for us, for as far as history dates back, we need to learn how to get together and squash it and just say, let's stick together. That's why we can't have nothing. If you ever notice, when you go into convenience stores and service stations, you don't see Black people own them places. We can't stick together. The people, when they are owning these businesses, they're gonna have some of us working for them, but those people help. They stand together. Them people help each other. They not like us where we want to hate on each other. I'm just speaking in general, because it's just really sad. Because like I say, the people that was at the hospital doing all the gossiping, Black folks, and it's just really sad. And I'm just tired of it. I'm like, I never seen nothing like it. It's like, I never thought in my adult years that what I have experienced in my high school years that I would have to deal with as an adult. Like, even with me, I carry myself as a lady. Like, I respect people. I treat people the way I want to be treated. I'm always, when I come in the room, hey, good morning, how you doing, ma'am and sir? But people look at me like if I'm invading their space or something, like, why she smiling so much? Who did? It gotta stop. It gotta stop. If we want greater to happen, we gotta learn how to come together. All the hating and talking about each other and disliking each other, it really needs to stop. And I'm like, why is we against each other? But we always talking about the other races, but these people stick together. They stick together. They not down in their own people just to suck up to the next person who can care less about them. It always us. It's the same way the other day when I had to call the fire department to because when my mom had to be rushed to the hospital, and out of the firefighters, it was four Caucasian men and one Black. My mom told me this yesterday. I didn't know, because I was so worried. I had a look on my face like I was just really sad, because I was concerned about her. The Black man at the bunch, older man, he had the nerve to ask me a stupid question like, why are you looking like that? I said, sir, that's my mom. I only can get one mother. I can't get another mother. That's my mom. I'm going to look like that because I want to. I'm trying to make sure she's good. I wanted to tell him I was so heated at that time. I didn't want to be disrespectful and rude. I wanted to say if you was in my situation, you would look like that too if that was your mother or grandmother. Who wouldn't want to look sad and we know what's going on in this world? Anybody look like that when they concerned about their loved ones. And I'm like, it's sad. And this man was every bit of 65. But like I tell y'all, age don't matter when people still ignorant. They can be 65 years old, act like they 35. If they haven't aged with their mindset, it don't even really matter. And I'm just tired of it, and I'm not trying to yell. It's just customer service you all has gotten worse. And it's just really sad. In the hospital that she was at, I wouldn't even recommend if I had a sick puppy. I wouldn't even send my dog there. That's how bad the hospital is. I remember I had to go there a couple years ago, and I waited for like 8 hours for to be seen. And I said to myself, if I ever have to go to the ER and be hurt, it will never be this hospital again. It's just really sad. When will the hate stop? You know, and people always talking about, oh, you ain't got to be hating on me. What, you ain't got nothing. What I'm hating on you for? Hate doesn't mean materialistic things. Hate can just be as simple as because if a person carry themselves in a nice way, they always being polite and friendly. Sometimes people can hate on you for that. It don't necessarily have to be how the way you dress and all that. It can just be as simple as how you carry yourself, how you light up a room. It needs to stop. It really do. And I'm just tired of it. Like when I look at it, it's just really sad, like to the point you can't speak to nobody no more. Cause they looking at you like, why you in a good mood? They can be looking like this. You know, and I get it. Everybody going through something. You know, we all going through something, but I'm not finna come somewhere and make, even though with me, with my work environment, it's a lot of things that's going on at work, but I ain't gonna let these people stop me from smiling. Oh, I'm gonna keep a smile on my face because I know God gonna bless me with something better, but I'm not gonna let nobody steal my joy. I tell anybody, do not let nobody steal your joy because the devil is busy. And when I read that scripture this morning, I felt like it was so relatable to me discussing this because this actually happened. It's getting ridiculous. Customer service has changed. And like I say, I've been doing this for over 20 years. I never disrespected nobody. I go through a lot of pressure. I be under a lot of pressure. Like I say, working in the industry I'm in, hospitality is a stressful industry. I'm just going to be honest. Between serving people and catering folks with banquet events, y'all know I do banquets and I work in a restaurant. It's a lot of work. But I know how to control myself. I'm not finna take my anger out on the guests and customers. I'm not finna be rude to them, even though I have experience where I can be nice and friendly. People, some guests or customers try to, get me out of character, but I'm not gonna let them. I'm not gonna let them. I'm not gonna let, because you having a bad day, your energy, I'm not finna let that energy rub off on me. They're just simple as that. I'm sorry. It gotta stop. It really do. I'm seeing it now more and more with my own eyes. And me being at this hospital yesterday just really showed me that people need prayer. People is stressed out. They overwhelmed. They're not going to tell you, but their actions speak louder than the words. All this gossiping about people, they tired out. The economy just really draining people dry. I'm just saying like that. Some people not built for to handle so much pressure, which I understand, because I go, like I say, I'm not built for it to a certain extent, but I'm not going to let nobody make me be rude and disrespectful to other people when people haven't did anything to me. I just feel like if it's too much for you, you should just take some time off or find a job that suits you better. If you're not a customer service person, don't work in customer service. If you're not a person that like to, help people, even though customer service sounds like, if you're not a helper, don't help. If you don't like to work with children or anybody, don't get that job. It's just that simple. Why stay somewhere if it's making you miserable and depressed? I understand, like I say, the times we living in, it's hard to find work. Sometimes people have to take it, but at the same time, try to learn how to handle your anger and just, ask God to remove you situation, but taking your problems out on other people, you won't get nowhere in life. They're just anybody, But yeah, I know I said a lot. I did a little ministering here, but yeah, I just wanted to open up to you all on how I was feeling because it's a lot. It's a lot. When I say I thought I'm the only one dealing with something on my job, it ain't just me. Me seeing it and hearing it from my own eyes and seeing it yesterday, these people need prayer. These people really need a lot of prayer, because people is on a lot of pressure. People on a lot of pressure. But yeah, I'll probably tuned in to you. I think I'm gonna finish reading up some more of this study, and I'm gonna probably try to start editing some of this video. I'm gonna see how much footage it let me, because I know when I'm recording from this phone, it only let me do so much with it. So if I have to break some of this footage down into just a chit chat, I do it, or we'll see when I start the edits on it.